Hello and welcome to all our Aries out there, Sun, Moon and Rising. You are here with Oracle Insight, and today's reading is for the 10 days between the 12th and the 21st of December. So I've shuffled and laid out the cards here, so we'll get straight into the interpretation. You've got Mercury retrograde reinvention here, and then luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius. And then you've got courage, your higher self in reverse there, as well as victim mentality in reverse. All right, so given how these cards are laying out, just an overall picture, you might have been going through some disappointments or some kind of restrictions or limitations, because the Four of Cups, it's speaking to a perspective that you may have held, that it's not soothing or it hasn't been serving you at all. And with the courage card there, that does speak to having the courage to step onto a new path. Now, that for some of you, it could mean that you are thinking of starting something, but you've not made any moves towards it. So it could speak, for some of you, it could speak to mustering up the courage, mustering up the courage, and it's suggesting that it's time to do so in order to start whatever it is that you want to start, because you've not been satisfied with something in regards to your current situation. Now, with your higher self and spirit in reverse, that's really speaking to these two are connecting quite well. Or there's a theme here. So this is talking about you potentially feeling down about something, which speaks to this Four of Cups too. There might be just a perspective that you've been holding that hasn't been serving you at all. And the higher self card in reverse is asking you to tap into that your higher self, asking you to tap into spirit and use that inner essence to take you past whatever issues or disappointments, or I don't know that it's disappointments. It's more, well, actually, there could be disappointments involved. It's more about a mindset that's not nourishing your emotions at all. And that being the case, you're looking to something outside of yourself for. Just looking at this Four of Cups, can you see how he's looking at the cup there? Like it's got something that he needs. But in reality, what you do have is here within the Three of Cups, and that's your emotional center. So I really get the sense that this is really speaking, given how these cards are showing, this is really speaking to you having what you need within you. It's not going to be found outside of you. Now this. So this is speaking to you moving away from this. It's speaking to you with the victim mentality in reverse. It's speaking to you coming out of that sense of disempowerment, with the courage card there, encouraging you to move forward and to take a stand in something. Now with the Eight of Wands here under this spirit in your higher self, that speaks to some fast moving energy here. And with the Four of Pentacles, so I don't believe that this is going to take long for you to sort out in terms of your whatever disappointments or discouragement or just whatever that is that you're feeling. It's not going to take long to move through it. It's not something that's going to be hanging around for weeks or months or anything like that. It could literally days. I mean, 8. So even like 8. So obviously 8 days can seem like a long time, especially if whatever you're feeling is not as positive as we would like it to be. But within a week or so, it's definitely, oh look, you've got the 4 and the 4. So 4 to 8 days then. We're looking at, it's a period of 4 to 8 days that you're going to move out of that. But it does take you making the effort to do so. All right. So the faster you step onto that new path, the faster that energy is going to move. Yeah. And I would have to say, with the Mercury retrograde reinvention here, there can be delays and things. There can be that sense of not being able to move through something. You're wanting, with the reinvention, that's an encouragement to this new start, whatever that start is in. And you'll have to apply that to your situation to, if that's resonating for you. I don't really see a clear-cut indication as to whether it's a relationship or to do with projects. I actually get more of a sense this is internal. It's not really to do with a relationship or work. I'm not getting that sense. So I think it's more of an internal shift that's required. So yes, once again, so with the Mercury retrograde, sometimes things aren't as clear as we would like them to be during this time, and it can literally take, it might take a week or so for that clarity to come through. And given what I was saying, this time frame between 4 to 8 days, then I imagine that whatever internal situation it is that you're feeling, but as I say, you can apply that to your situation. It could very well be something external to you. Luck is on your side, so we like this, don't we? New Moon in Sagittarius. Now that's a good card to get. So the New Moon in Sagittarius was not long ago, so you may have set some intentions during that new moon, and that this may actually be something that is starting to come through for you in terms of the intentions that you set. It can speak to, it's certainly a beneficial card, and it certainly speaks to beneficial times. This then is about, but once again, this luck is on your side. That, as much as that is an indication of things going your way, it still requires a shift in mindset, because it's all perception, perspective. This is something that needs to be addressed in order for you to be in that right mindset, that right energetic flow, in order to be able to connect with all the benefits that this New Moon in Sagittarius card is wanting to bring to you. Interestingly, now that I'm looking at these two cards, see, this can speak to travel delays, and this card here is speaking to potential travel. So if you are planning a trip somewhere, that trip could be delayed, but it's also suggesting that you double check things. Make sure that if it is a trip, or if you do have something planned that is going to involve some movement somewhere, then just double check things. Make sure. With that card there, it does sometimes speak to communication dropouts in terms of, a miscommunication, which could upset your plans. And you've got the 8 of Wands there with movement. So for some of you, that may apply. And with the 4 of Pentacles lastly, I really do feel that as you finding steady, sturdy footing. This is not... I see that more as positive interpretation in this reading, apart from the fact that with this movement, this change in terms of mindset, as I was saying before, the initiation has to come from you. You're the one that has to make that intention, has to set forth with that intention to change things. So don't stand in old patterns. Make sure that you really embrace the opportunity to make those changes and move forward with that, in which case, in the positive interpretation of this, instead of you being stubborn or holding holding your ground, on staying stuck. This is about you standing strong with what you do have, the Four of Pentacles, and moving forward with that to develop it, grow it. Yeah, because we want to move you out of this this energy here, this emotional dissatisfaction. We want to move you from here, and we want to do it really swiftly, and with that fire energy, to just dispel that energy, burn that energy out, and have you standing more grounded, holding to the positives within your situation, your perspectives, focus on the positives here, and then move forward with that. And that's where the luck is on your side card comes into play and will allow things to flow to you more easily. Fantastic. All right, so that is, I'm going to choose a sacred geometry card, and look at that. Oh my gosh, look, you've got universal love. Okay, let me read this. The frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other, to our planet, and to the whole of existence itself. All right, so that really does speak to you tapping into your higher self here, this universal self there. Okay. Interesting. You've got universal, that's 44. You've got 4 flanking the 8 of Wands here, and of course 4 plus 4 equals the 8. So this is your card for sure in this reading. You need to tap into that positive emotional reservoir within you, that sense of, that feeling of love, connecting to your higher self and that connection with the divine, and that's going to serve you so well in terms of being able to deal with whatever it is here that you're experiencing at this time. But hold to this and we'll hold to that, right? Okay, yes, that is the way forward. All right then, Aries, so that is the reading I have for you. I look forward to being able to connect with you again in another reading. So until then, you take care. Hello and welcome to our Taurus out there, Sun, Moon and Rising. So you've got Oracle Insight. Let's get ahead with the reading as I have already shuffled and laid the cards. I hope you're all doing very well as we enter into the middle of December. Okay, so you have South Node Life's debts here, and as I was shuffling, 2 wanted to show themselves for your moon cards here. Be bold, make the first move, and that's Cardinal Moon, and the end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn. So these cards are actually speaking very well together, because this South Node does speak to endings and potential beginnings, and the Cardinal Moon is speaking to beginnings there. So that's basically like a supporting or just reinforcing this South Node card here. But you may be going through a time of change, reassessing where things are at, looking at what's not served you in the past and letting that go. Laying down on the table here, you've got the vast universe in reverse there. You have cycle, this increase, I'm saying cycle here, cycle, and it's increase in reverse, as well as intuition and manifestation. Now this is also a spirit card, just like this one, and it is intuition, manifestation in reverse. All right, so it does look to be an indication of blockages, of things not quite flowing right. Now, the vast universe and spirit here in reverse, this is because South Node talks to, can speak to karmic patterns, karmic debts, then this indication with spirit there is really speaking to how the source of your supply is the vast universe, and this is just pointing to a disconnect with it. That a lot of this is, of course, to do with your internal landscape and how you are coping with these changes. And if you're not coping with these changes very well, this is saying that Spirit is there for you. This is also saying with the Three of Cups that you do actually have people around you who can be supportive of you, or you are able to connect with a group of people, maybe a support network that will assist you with that, those ties, those bonds, that emotional support to have you feeling better about whatever is happening, whatever changes and releases you're going through at the moment. And with the Ten of Swords here and increase, so this card, they're actually all they've got similar messages. Well, at least these two do. But this is speaking to a time of circumspection. It's a time where you are assessing things, understanding that things need to change. Now, those changes could potentially, with the Ten of Swords, it indicates an ending of something. But the good thing is that with all that light coming through, this is really an ending that marks the beginning. And we were talking about that with the South Node, the endings here with the full moon in Capricorn, and of course the beginnings with the cardinal moon. So this is really reiterating that there. So this is where you need to put in the work. It's a bit of a toil and a bit of a grind in terms of persevering through the difficulties, in a sense. But Spirit cards in reverse, this is showing you that you actually have so much more available to you in terms of that spiritual guidance, in terms of that connection, especially with your intuition and manifestation. That does speak to you having that ability within you, but with it being in reverse, it's being blocked currently. And no wonder with all these endings going on and trying to deal with whatever that means to you. But certainly with the Hanging Man there, this is one, needing a change in perspective. And two, this blockage, it's holding you in limbo. It's holding you in a space where it doesn't allow you to move through, because you need to move through this, and it's certainly going to, and you're certainly going to do it. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But the cards here are encouraging you to, like with the cardinal moon, it does talk to active participation. It talks to the beginnings, initiating something. But with the full moon in Capricorn, see, with the tough cycle approaching, so that's maybe a good suggestion would just be to take care of some to-do lists, go through and complete the task and tick it off, and even that will move the energy somewhat, just to give you that sense of accomplishing something. But certainly with the South Node and life's debts, it's not an easy time whatsoever. And given with this Ten of Swords here, you've been through it, haven't you? So we like the fact that the light is there, all right? And we also like the fact with the Three of Cups, this really does speak to a joyful, loving connection here. So you may have some people, I'm looking at the three. I kind of see this because it's like a trinity of sorts, you know, the connection to spirit, like you've got some spiritual guides that can help you through this time. But on a more practical plane, in the 3D level, you could potentially also have, you know, some people around you, some support there that you can confide with and speak with, and they can help support you, give you that emotional support to get through this time. But bless Taurus, yes, it does seem like a time of change, but we shall hold to the fact that this change is necessary, and of course it's going to allow you to move ahead with new beginnings. And with the Hangman there too, that's going to offer a new perspective of something when one, you release the old, the blocks are removed. Release yourself from those chains and holding you back from your own source of intuition, because it is there within you and it's quite powerful too. It's just the ability to allow yourself to tap into it. Okay, all right then. Oh look, there you go, third eye chakra. Okay, so the frequency of the third eye chakra, the indigo flower of life, supports our intuition, our inner knowing, our imagination and our psychic powers. Well, what was I saying about the intuition and manifestation? You do have access to that. It's about unleashing that, allowing that to come through and not blocking it. Yeah, so, you know, participating in activities that are going to be quite soothing for yourself, whether that is meditation or just whatever it is that, you know, gives you that sense of calm and sense of peace. That's going to help with those releasing of those blockages. But certainly, most definitely, if meditation is something that you see yourself participating in, being within, then that's really going to assist you to get through this time. Okay, Taurus, that is indeed the reading I have for you. Take care of yourselves as you go through this time, and I look forward to being able to connect with you again. Hello and welcome to our Gemini Sun, Moon and Rising out there. I certainly hope you are doing well, and thank you for joining me here at Oracle Insight. So today's reading is for the 12th to the 21st of December, Gemini, and we're just going to jump into the reading here as I have already laid the cards. You've got a bit of a mixture, but I'm actually quite excited about this. Lunar eclipse here in change, so that really does speak to huge changes going on that are unsettling. They are ones that, as you can see, tower here, this is what that can potentially feel like, that tower, this tower card where there's deconstructing. So there are certain things that have to be let go of and moved out from your space, internal and external. And these cards are really pointing to that. Now, if we are looking at these two cards here, full moon in Scorpio here, and then it's time to release negativity, and then full moon in Leo, don't let pride get in your way. These cards are really speaking to the cards on the table here. Now, with the victim mentality here in consciousness, so that is speaking about this negativity here with the full moon in Scorpio. That is speaking to being bound, like this man is bound to that bed by that rope there. It's a consciousness card, so it's about perspectives, your thought patterns. You are potentially allowing yourself to be caught in disempowering thoughts, disempowering emotions, okay? And with that victim mentality card, with it's time to release negativity, this is supporting the fact that needs to go, that needs to stop, because it's not helping you at all. Interestingly, you've got with these two cards, the way these cards are showing, this could actually indicate a relationship or a friendship that may have been causing some grief. There seems to be emotions surrounding a particular relationship or friendship that might be coming to an end here with the lunar eclipse and change. These cards do speak to a potential severing or an ending of a relationship or friendship there. So if that is the case and that does resonate with you, then with the consciousness here in present power, this is asking you not to overthink the past. Don't delve back into what has gone before. That is no longer relevant for you. It's not going to benefit you by going over it again and again. It's encouraging you to stay in the present moment where the potential is for you to succeed, because you've got 6 of Wands here, and that does talk to success. So this, I'm not too concerned about this consciousness here, because you've got the 6 of Wands. So that speaks to you actually getting a handle of that, and you coming out of this stage the victor. So that's wonderful. This is what we want, and this is what you will get, but it does require that you allow whatever needs to crumble, because with this Tower here, this is indicating that whatever is moving away and leaving your sphere of experience, it needs to. This is not something that you've actually got too much control over. It's just how it is. It's unpleasant, but just like the lunar eclipse and change, it is unpleasant, but ultimately it is actually for your best and highest good. And you know, that sounds so cliche. I understand that when you're going through the emotions and the situations and the actual circumstances, you know, thinking about the fact that it's for your best and highest good can sometimes, you know, it's hard to be able to feel into the truth of that. So I understand that, but this is definitely saying that it is a necessary ending. Look here, you've got 10 of Cups. So this is joy. You know, that's happiness. So there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. There is going to be that rainbow here at the end of this, which is going to lead to that pot of joy, that pot of whatever it is that you define as your happiness. And with the honoring path here and intention, this is a reminder here that this is what we're wanting to move towards. For some of you, it might actually equate to a work situation. There might be some shifts in terms of your colleagues, and if there is a disconnect between yourself and another colleague, then if that is the case, there does seem to be some kind of recognition for you. Maybe there's some kind of effort you've put in that is now going to be seen and acknowledged. But for most of you, I really think that this is more the internal, you actually coming to a sense of self-honor, you understanding your own worth and not being in this victim mentality here. See, we don't want this. This is you. This card is you moving out of this energy pattern, all right? Being in your present power, so you have to stay in the moment, you have to stay in the now. Don't go back to the before, because the before is no longer where your energy should be focused. Your energy needs to be focused on the now, what you do have control over. And when you do have that, look, you've got that honoring path, you've got that sense of control, that sense of understanding your uniqueness and your value. And I love the fact that here, this is speaking to the emotional joy, right? And then you've got prosperity lies ahead, new moon in Taurus, and that's speaking to the tangible joy of resources or even monetary success and stability. Right, so you've got your bases covered here in terms of the benefits and the happiness. So we love that. That's really wonderful. I'm very, very pleased, Gemini, to see how these cards are really reflecting movement and a transition here, and then moving into this state of joy and abundance. And that's what we want. And look, you're the victor here, success. Love that. 6 of Wands, yes. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to choose a sacred geometry card now and see what this says. All right, so Earth, okay. So the frequency of Earth activates our deep connection to this physical plane by showing us the beauty of all the aspects of our Great Mother and revealing the more ethereal, spiritual aspects of our nature. What's great about this then is that Earth, you know, that connects very much to the fact that new moon in Taurus, that's about you coming into that sense of groundedness and that sense of physical manifestation of what you are developing, supporting, growing internally, you know, with the emotions here, the honoring path, and you showing up in a way that is reflected on the outside in your external environment. So this is what we love. Perfect. Oh, that is really lovely, Gemini. I'm so pleased for you with this. That's fantastic. All right then, so that is the reading I have for you for these upcoming days. So until I can connect with you again, I wish you all the best and take care. Hello and welcome to Cancer, Sun, Moon and Rising. You are with Oracle Insight. Thank you for being here today. So today's reading is for the 12th to the 21st of December. So Cancer, I hope you're doing well as we move into the middle of December, but we are just going to get straight into this reading as I have already shuffled and laid the cards. All right then, so could be a tough time you're going through with the Yacht in Destiny. Now this is speaking to some big changes, some things that can sometimes feel very chaotic and out of your control. Another influencing energy here with full moon in Virgo, you are good enough. So whatever changes you're going through at the moment, whatever shifts are happening, this is really encouraging you to understand, reconnect, and believe in yourself. Know that you are good enough regardless of these external circumstances and how they may reflect to you. Internalizing that reflection and feeling down about that might be having a tendency to question self-worth. And given that this intention card here, intention with the peace in reverse, this is really speaking to that mindset being present with you right now. So it's a disruption of this sense of peace, this internal peace, all right? And understandably so, if you are going through some turmoil right now with this Yacht Destiny card showing up, but this is really saying that in order for you to go through whatever chaos or turmoil is happening at the moment, it does require you to have that internal balance. And with that in reverse, that's saying, indicating that you don't have that right now, and not having that is not giving yourself that honor that you deserve. It's dishonoring to you, to who you are. So we want to move you away from that for sure. And this, with the Eight of Cups here, this is you walking away from a situation. With the fire here of the Page of Wands, it could mean that you are receiving some kind of insight, because I'm looking at this wand here as potential, because sometimes it can speak to the spiritual. So it could mean that you're actually going to receive some kind of connection or insight, that supports you in being able to move past this peace card in reverse. It could actually also speak to a connection that you have with somebody with a youthful nature, potentially fire sign, of a youthful, but more so of a youthful exuberance about them that kind of sparks your interest, sparks your sense of enjoyment more. And given that next up you've got this people, new support and connections here, that might actually be the case. You might actually be meeting somebody that introduces you to a new group of people, new group of connections that gets you participating in life more positively, that supports you being able to walk away from the sadness here, the times of non-fulfillment of this time where the peace is in reverse. So it could also point to moving away from a group of people that have not been supportive of you, all right? You've just understood that it's time to disconnect from those that have not been a positive influence in terms of how you're feeling. So that could be the case too. So look out for that. There could be a potential somebody who does introduce you to a new group of people, or you're going to meet someone that does kind of accelerate this movement from that disempowerment and this peace card in reverse. That person's going to move you along out of that disempowerment stage or feeling a lot faster, because they're going to connect you with people that light your fire in some way, that gets you more interested in things that are aligned with what it is that you need to develop. Like that. Well done. Okay, Cancer, that's what we want. You've got Ascended Masters in Spirit here, so that's really speaking to you being able to tap into assistance that's on offer here from the Ascended Masters, and it does point to Ascended Masters being around you that are wanting to come in and support you through this time of change and turmoil, because they're with the moon here. So that guidance is just going to help move out some of this. There are some things that you can identify that is needed to be released when you're moving forward, but then sometimes there are things that you might have a sense of, but you're not really sure about what it may be, or there's some hidden factors in regard to the process you're going through. And I believe here that with the Ascended Masters, that's really Spirit telling you that that clarity that you're wanting, it's going to be available to you when you open up and ask for help from those Ascended Masters who are wanting to come in and assist you. Come in and assist you. And just back to here, you are good enough. So this is really about fostering that sense of self-worth. And when you do have that, then obviously you're going to be more open and more receptive to the positive influences in your life, and connecting with people in a different level of vibration that's feel that worth and feel that happiness. And that's what we absolutely want for certain. And when I look at this is also about assessing and taking control over the things that you can do. So even the basic things in terms of decluttering your home, that's going to clear out the old stuck energy and allow that to flow more for you. So even things like that's going to allow that release and that cleansing. I'm actually just going to pull one more card here. I want to see if there's anything else to be gained. Oh, Ace of Cups, look, fabulous. We've got Ace of Cups here. So yeah, we're definitely talking to new emotional fulfillment here. Okay, that's been given, that's on offer here for you. Oh, and so of course, with the tarot, see, it goes from the Eight of Cups to the Nine of Cups. Common interpretation of the Eight of Cups is that, you're leaving these Eight of Cups behind because they're no longer fulfilling. And the progressive card after the Eight of Cups is the Nine of Cups, which talks to fulfillment. It talks to, wishes fulfilled. It talks to happiness. And look, you've got Ace of Cups here, which is the 1 cup plus the 8. That literally reflects the 9 of Cups for me. That's like saying that you've left this behind in search of that wish fulfillment, and you've found that you're looking for that 1 cup, which will make the 9, and there it is, the Ace of Cups. So this is beautiful. Oh, and I love that look. You've got the stages of the moon here, and look, you've got the moon. Perfect synchronicity here. Yeah, that emotional fulfillment too is going to be very instrumental in opening up that connection with the Ascended Masters around you wanting to assist you, because the Ace of Cups is literally a gift from the divine. So we love that. Great. And of course, what an oversight. Of course, the moon rules Cancer. So that really does represent you tapping into your own power there. Ah, fabulous. Okay, lastly, we're going to choose sacred geometry. So that's the third eye chakra here. So let's read this. The frequency of the third eye chakra, the indigo flower of life, supports our intuition our inner knowing, our imagination, and our psychic powers. So there we go. What was I talking about? The moon and your connection with the divine and your ability to open that out for you. And that's going to reveal, there might be some hidden messages that you are needing to receive. Got some information that you're needing to receive, and this is supporting your ability to do so. All right, Cancer. Fantastic, fabulous. That's the reading I have for you today, Cancer. Do take care as you go through this time, and I will look forward to being able to connect with you again in another reading. Okay. Hi, and welcome to all our Leos out there, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Thank you for being here at Oracle Insight. And today I'm going to do a reading for the 12th to the 21st of December. Certainly hope you are all doing very well. And we are going to get straight into interpreting the cards that I have already laid out. We've got 3 moon cards that came out for you, as well as Saturn return. Now, Saturn return happens generally about 29 to 30 and then 58 to 60. So you may be around that age. But this does speak to a time of change. Saturn's quite the hard taskmaster, and it's checking to see what it is that you have learnt in your life. It's a time of assessing things that are in need of clearing out, clearing away, in order for you to get a better idea of what it is that you want to take into the future. And given that you've got new moon eclipse here, expect powerful change. That's just supporting that shift, that clearing away. That's something is going to, it's reflection of energies that are really moving you through a situation of change, potential loss too. Now, time for healing, and it's time to take action. So, well, it's time to take action. That's about, the way I see the cards here, this is really about you taking control over what you can control. Because there's lots here that you don't have control over. But what you can control, this is a card that's saying that's encouraging you to definitely take the reins with certain things, and you'll know what it is that you do have control over in your life and how that resonates. And then you've got the time for healing. So whatever changes you're going through at the moment, it is going to be very disruptive, and it's going to require that you allow yourself time to find that balance again and to find that sense of healing, because these disruptions and these changes are really going to upset that balance and, tip the cart, so to speak, in which case, you're going to have to allow yourself that time to find your footing again. But with with this kindred partnership and people in reverse, this is really speaking to us a separation of sorts within a relationship, or it could speak to a situation as well. But right now, it does, looking at the way the cards are lying, this does really show me or speak to potential relationship, a love relationship, like a marriage even. And you might be feeling some nostalgia about this with the 6 of Cups. And given that the present power card is showing here, this is talking to you being in your present power and in the present where your power is based. This is discouraging you going back to the past and having some nostalgia over a potential relationship, if that's talking to a relationship. Holding on to memories that you might actually not be seeing as clearly as the actual events reflect, because you do have that sense of sorrow, or you're looking at it through the lens of sorrow. So this is speaking to encouraging you not to do that. That's disempowering to you and where you are at now. Right, and with the 7 of Swords, This really speaks to me with here about with the disempowering of nostalgia, looking at things through rose-colored glasses. This is showing you the truth of it, that there was a lot that wasn't right with the situation or the relationship with the Seven of Swords. And this is just a reminder here that that was the case. You know, claim that clarity for yourself, and also just stay in the present moment. Don't go back to the past. It's not going to serve you in any way. But look, you've got the Tower there, which does speak to an ending, something being removed. It's quite a destructive picture there. Certainly not an easy energy to deal with, but this is really speaking to the fact that it's removal of whatever it is that's leaving at this time is actually for your best and highest good, as much as you may not want to look at it in that way. That's really saying that it is. And with Saturn return, this is really about identifying what it is in your life currently that's going to serve you moving forward. And whatever that is, that's what you take forward. And whatever it is not serving you, which is an indication here with situational relationship, it is being removed with the Tower. But the good thing is that you've got this card. Doesn't look so great, does it? But in reverse, it's good, because this is saying that you are now going to, once this settling has been done, once that upheaval, once you've gone through that upheaval, and you've allowed yourself time to heal here, okay, because you're going through a very powerful change. Once you've allowed those changes to integrate and you've given yourself time to heal, then you are going to be in a much stronger position, and you're going to be moving out of a sense of fear or worry. That's no longer going to be the energy that you're going to be within. It's not going to be something that you're going to stay in. You are definitely going to come out of that. You're going to be really ready to move forward with the new moon in Aries energy here. You know, take your life forward and take that action, that next step that's going to see you so much better off. I love that. Okay, so let's just put this back, because that wasn't supposed to come out like that. But let's see if we can get something. Powerful change, absolutely. Powerful, powerful change for you, Leo. King of Cups. All right, this is good. Throughout this change and these shifts and this upheavals, you know, at the end of it, you are going to be your King of Cups. You're going to be that person who is okay, emotionally stable, emotionally mature, understanding of these circumstances and understanding how you've benefited from that. Because the King of Cups, you know, regardless of what's happening, they have got that pretty decent handle of things. And that's a good space to be in, you know, especially after this turmoil. So this is wonderful. Love that. Okay, so we'll put that there. And then we're going to, all right, so we've got Guy here. That's interesting. All right then, let's have a look. The frequency of Gaia reminds us that we are infinitely connected to one another, just as we are to our Great Mother and to the universe that birthed us all. So that's really speaking to me about grounding yourself, making sure that you are doing things, supporting yourself in ways that will keep you present. That this is a very this card is really supporting you standing in your present power, having that power within you, grounding yourself, and being well grounded, well footed. What's this one? Okay. Oh look, love that. And soul time. The frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibility of a new reality to emerge, one that embraces the concept that while the corporal body is mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. Ah, goodness. Yeah, so this is really you recognizing that, you know, whatever it is that your soul had lined up for you in this lifetime, this is part of it. The situation you're going through, that is part of it. And so this is just new reality emerging here. And it's going to be one where you are going to be so much better off and you're moving forward in strength. All right then, Leo, all the best as you go through this time. And until I can connect with you again, take care. Hi and welcome to all of our Virgo sun, moon and rising signs out there. Now I am going to look at the energies between the 12th and the 21st of December. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the interpretation as I've already laid out the cards. But thank you so much for joining me here today, Virgo. I hope you're certainly doing well during this time of change, because there does seem to be some change on the table here in these cards. You've got Saturn return, and that typically happens around the 29 to 30-year-old mark and 58 to 60. So that could reflect the age group that you are in at the moment. But regardless, it does speak to a time of change. And with balanced spirituality and practicality, full moon in Pisces. With these changes that are happening, it's about encouraging you to find that balance between, the tasks that you have to take care of on a day-to-day basis, setting up a structure, as well as allowing that intuitive connection and flow with spirit, because it looks like you certainly are in need of that balance, because you've got here commitment and events and commitment in reverse. So that talks to a finishing up of could be a relationship, it could be a contract, it could be a situation, it could be a job, it could be a project, but there is a commitment that is coming to an end here. And with Six of Cups, that could point to something in the realm of family. It could also point to a commitment that's been very long-standing, that you've actually been in this relationship comes to mind. You've been in this relationship for a long, long time, or that connection has been long-standing. And so with this and moving, this energy of releasing things, this Saturn is about finding out what works in life. It's a testing energy, asking you to discern what it is that is beneficial for you as you move forward, asking you to also release whatever it is that you have identified is not going to be beneficial for you going forward. And that's suggesting that this is a time of releasing and letting go of things that are no longer a right fit for you. So for a lot of you, that could be a relationship. And with the hidden motivations, so this is being clear on where you stand, how it is that you are. I'm getting a sense that it's about how you are transparent with a situation or a person. This is not a time to hide, to not be clear in truth, in your authentic truth. This is about you standing up and actually owning that truth for yourself. Removing this blindfold. There could be a blindfold around someone else, and so it's a tough ask, but with these two cards coming out, it could potentially be, for some of you, it's about offering up some truths that was not clear to someone before. Or for some of you, it could be you coming to terms with your own truths and then having that clarity to remove that blindfold, identifying what it is, and no longer being in a state of confusion about something, because the Two of Swords can sometimes point to, a state of uncertainty, not quite sure which way to go, not quite sure where things stand. But this is pointing, especially with the hidden motivations there, this is really saying that this is a time to become clear on that. If it is the case of where you need to be transparent with someone else, they deserve the truth as well, if that's the case. If that's the case, and if that situation resonates with you. All right. But look, you've got intention and discovery, and I love this because this is talking to this releasing of the old and moving away from uncertainty and confusion, and it's about being open and honest with yourself and with others. All right. With that clarity, look, you've got potential of discovery of diamond. Love that. So that's being on the path to finding those jewels, those wonders and those benefits and those that abundance of all things that you consider wonderful in your life. This is about you heading onto that path now, because you've come to terms with things that you're no longer in line with. That openness and honesty, that then puts you in this vibration of expansion and moving forward and seeing what else is possible for you. And look what's possible. You've got the 10 of Cups, for goodness sakes. 10 of Cups, that's absolute joy. That's happiness. So you're on a path of self-discovery. I see that as self-discovery as well. A path of self-discovery and a path of experiencing real fundamental joy in your life. And a joy that once you have within yourself, you get to share that outwardly to others too. This is actually, for the best and highest good of all involved, really. And your way to be able to balance that and get through that is with your balancing of spirituality and practicality. That's just one of those suggestions and guidance and encouragement for you to have that even footing with things. Keep things structured. Saturn, there's a structure in place. And this is with full moon in Pisces, things can get a bit nebulous. You can there's no boundaries potentially, but this is really encouraging you to have the structure of Saturn, as well as that openness to spirituality, that connection with the divine, because that's going to really serve you so well as you go through this time. And throat chakra, oh wow, okay. Let's see, the frequency of the throat chakra, the blue flower of life, supports our self-expression and our sense of peace and balance. I have to say, so the blue coming out here, this is really, really reiterating what I said before about you having to be open and honest with someone and with yourself, expressing and coming to terms with and identifying that truth that you hold. And secondly, it's about expressing it. It's expressing it to those who need to hear that authentic expression. And that's when you get your sense of peace and balance. And when you're in peace and balance and harmony, you're on towards the 10 of Cups and discovery of wonderful, wonderful things in your life. Virgo, that is the reading I have for you. Take care as you go through this time, and I do look forward to being able to connect with you again in another reading. All the best. Hello and welcome to all our Libra, Sun, Moon and Rising. Welcome to Oracle Insight. So today's reading is for the 12th to the 21st of December. Now I'm going to go ahead and jump to the interpretation of these cards as I've already laid them out. You got an extra card that wanted to come out for you, so there we go, 10 of Pentacles, we love that. Energies around right now, you've got during this time period, you've got the earth element stability, and then you've got a personal issue reaches resolution, full moon in Cancer. So you've got the earth element and then you've got the water element here. So it feels like you need a balance between the two, the practical as well as the emotional. That's what it feels like. Now, this could point to a situation, a relationship situation or family situation that's going to find some kind of a compromise, or as it says, a resolution there. There's a solving of some kind of issue that may have been causing some imbalance. Now you've got Ascended Masters. Now that is speaking to you having Ascended Masters around you. You've got spiritual aid surrounding you that you can call upon to assist you in providing you with whatever it is you need to get through this time of uncertainty. Now you've got Death here as well. So it looks like there could be an end of a cycle happening. And with the dark thoughts and consciousness here, this is really speaking to thought patterns that were quite limiting and restrictive of you and negative and lower vibrational. That mindset, if you've had a time of that, And it's now moving on, which is wonderful. So this, with this death card here, see this, it looks to be pointing to the fact that that negativity and pessimism is actually starting to move away from you now, and you're moving out of that, which is fantastic, because what we're wanting here is that regained stability. And with the back and forth here and intentions, see, this speaks to being uncertain about something, not quite sure about whether to go this way or that way. And as a result, you kind of, seesawing back and forth between intentions, between focuses. And as a result, you're not getting anywhere. So if there is something that you need to make a decision on, if it is to do with a family unit, then this is really suggesting that it is time for you to actually come to terms with whatever it is that you are potentially procrastinating about, not quite sure of. You need to actually stand on firm ground with the earth element, stability, and make that decision. It's now a time of confirming your choice and moving forward with it. No more going back and forth. And if that's to do with a venture, a project, a work situation, then this is really speaking to a time of movement forward. For some of you, it might be that you've just had things happening. If this is to do with the work situation, you've had things happening in the home environment or the personal environment, and it's been pulling a lot of your attention, and it's been quite draining on your emotions. And as a result, some professional decisions that you've needed to make that you haven't actually been able to focus that. Because with the Ten of Pentacles here and the Earth element, so there's something in this situation that is going to result in a improvement and increase in resources. So whether that's a potential investment coming to fruition, or whether that is an opportunity that is going to lead to more resources, there is something here about that, because like you do have that earth here, and with the Ten of Pentacles, that really does speak to me like whatever's happening in the background, there is the opportunity to move forward in a venture that's going to reflect benefits in the material world. So with the Death card, so as I was saying, the Death card, I'm really getting that sense, an end of that cycle of uncertainty about the back and forth. It's about being able to leave whatever issues that you've had recently emotionally, being able to settle that and to move on from that. And this is just with the Ascended Masters there, that's just letting you know, like I said before, you do have some spiritual support there. So if you're open to asking for that and receiving that help, then by all means do so, and you will receive that. Now the King of Wands here and the King of Swords. In one sense, this could be to do with the back and forth decision and a resource, some kind of work project or creative project where there has been negotiations happening between two people, one of the King of Wands, fire nature, and one of the King of Swords. So, and between these two people, there might be a situation, a negotiation of sorts that's going to potentially result in this Ten of Pentacles outcome. And if that is the case, it is now time to make a selection, make a decision, move on. And of course, if that does resonate with you, you will understand how best to apply this. But in terms of the interpretation from here, it would seem that there could potentially be two people that have some kind of negotiation or a relationship, a partnership here that has got to do with, an improvement, a resource, a benefit of some kind in the material world. in another interpretation, for some of you, this could actually be one, this is what you need, this King of Wands energy, to get yourself out of these dark thoughts and these limiting patterns of behaviors, of just this consciousness that's not allowing you that clarity, because the King of Wands is speaking to a certainty, a confidence here that they have an awareness about them. They've got a sense of, they're quite inspirational. And so this could be, so either this is the energy that you need to encompass, or there could actually be somebody of the King of Wands energy, personality, who can assist you in moving out of that, this consciousness here, which is not of benefit to you. And with the back and forth, in another, if this isn't to do with negotiations, then this back and forth and intention here, as I was saying, this is requiring you to make a decision and move forward on it, and not be in a state of uncertainty and indecision. As with the King of Wands, this could once again be the energy that you need to encompass, you need to emulate in order to be able to slice through the heart of the matter with the King of Swords, that clarity, that sense of being able to discern the pros and cons of a situation and to come to a very clear decision. But either which way, however way this resonates with you, Libra, this is really about moving on from an issue that's been draining you emotionally, with the personal issue reaches resolution. And now that I'm onto this, with this one, it could be that whatever situation you are in at the moment, it is calling for you to hold that space of certainty for people. If it's a family issue, all right, because this element of stability is really indicating that provision of stability is required, of certainty, of, groundedness. There's an element of this that's needed in this situation. And so it could be that if you have been emotionally at odds and maybe finding yourself at the mercy of these the ebbs and flows here with Cancer, this is really speaking to the need for real groundedness. And through that provision of stability, there will be that resolution that's reached in the emotional realm, if that is relevant for you. But I love the Ten of Pentacles here. There's this real sense of being able to see something of benefit, something that you can literally touch, something tangible. It's not just about that feeling of success. There is success in the material world for you with this. Okay, all right, then that is fabulous. So now we are going to just get Merkaba. This is the Sacred Geometry card for you, and it says the frequency of Merkaba supports our ability to use our consciousness to traverse into other layers of reality and dimensions. It activates our access to our Akashic inheritance as well, merging the totality of our experiences into our present to serve our highest purpose. So it does seem that with this, there is certainly an influence of spirituality in this read, even though it does speak to a lot of emotions going on and that need for stability with the earth, with the pentacles, and just that sure-footedness. With the Ascended Masters in this card, that there is an element of the intangible here, the spirit world. Okay, look, I'm going to get another one. Let's see if we can, on perception, 35. The frequency of perception supports our natural curiosity, moving us beyond our comfort zone to find the edges of what we perceive as real and to take a good, hard, deep look at it. Great. Well, perception's always very good to encourage, like a clearer perception of the situation, a clear perception of the way forward. And so this is supporting you in finding that, especially with the King of Swords there. So I think that's going to really assist you in your your sense of clarity surrounding the issue or issues, or movement forward with regards to work or creative projects, whatever's going to create this beneficial influx into your experience. So we want that because we don't want you going back and forth. All right then, Libra, that is the reading I have for you. And I trust that it will benefit you, or it has benefited you in some way, for some clarity. And until I can connect with you again in another reading, take care. Hello and welcome to our Scorpios out there, Sun, Moon and Rising. And thank you for being here with Oracle Insight. Today I'm going to be looking at the time period between the 12th and the 21st of December. So the cards are all ready to go, so we'll just jump into the interpretation for you, Scorpio. So you've got part of fortune here, an increase, and the energy is gaining momentum, the waxing moons. Well, this is fantastic because this is speaking to things going with ease, doors opening for you, right timing, right place, right time kind of energy. It's a very supportive energy of improvement, of good luck in a sense. And it seems to be a period of time that it's come about because you've had to do some work. With this energy is gaining momentum. See, this is really talking about a situation kind of coming full circle where whatever needed to be understood, assessed, it's a time of the releasing of something in order for you to be better situated, better placed to receive more benefit for yourself. And look, right off here, you've got two cards that have the word increase on it. So we are talking to something really beneficial, and it's coming into a time of abundance, right? And look, you've got Nine of Pentacles too. So that's really talking to having that increase in the finances, in the material, in resources, which supports an independence for yourself. And that might be because you've had to go through a time of restriction, a time of experiences that may not have been as easy to go through, because you've got here you've got here the Tower underneath higher self. And see, the higher self in reverse here, that's really speaking to you being disempowered. It's about you're going it tough, but you're trying to do it in ways that are difficult. Like, this is really saying that you have access to support that can ease your pathway through the situation when you tap into source and spirit. And this is talking to the ascended masters, that you do actually have ascended masters surrounding you who can give you that assistance that you need and that you could greatly benefit from. Right, so it's there, and this is just asking you to, as you're going through this process, to be mindful that you're not alone and that you do have access to your higher self and to the ascended masters who are able to come in and support you. This releasing of things, it's to do with something that's obviously not been serving you. Now, I'm thinking that it could definitely speak to, given that the Five of Pentacles here, you've probably had to do it tough for a while in terms of your finances. A lot of this energy is really about not just the fact that you may have been experiencing that limitation physically, in that 3D, that loss of or restriction of finances, limitations in resources. It's not just that, but it's also to do with your perspective, your perceptions on things, the fear consciousness that you may have been allowing to get the better of you here with the Five of Pentacles. because with the higher self in reverse there, that's really pointing to, like I said before, it's allowing, you're going about things in a resisting manner. It's like it would flow a lot easier and it would be less painful and it would be less destructive for you with this Tower here. You know, there's a deconstruction going on. There's a releasing of something here with that waxing moon. So, and there is a releasing of something, and it needs to be let go of. But a lot of it has to do with the mind space and how you view things. Especially there with the higher self there, that's what that's saying to me. But whatever framework, mental framework, emotional framework you've got going, it is time now for that to be removed, for you to have that clean slate, and for you to realize that you don't have to go at it alone. Call upon, connect with your higher self, and obviously you've got the Ascended Masters there to help you through, because that's going to benefit you. And given the potential here for the increase, the Nine of Pentacles, the part of fortune and increase, you know, we want that. We definitely want that for you, Scorpio. So that's your pathway to get that, is to just clear away some of that negativity or whatever it is that's not serving you right now. I wonder if we can get anything else with regards to that. Because I don't see any cups there. So I don't know that this is to do with a relationship. I think this really is more to do with your mindset. Well, let you go. Look, the Hermit. The Hermit's there to suggest that inward reflection, that introspection, understanding that, you know, the internal is going to be, what you have going on internally is going to reflect in the external. And the external that you may have been experiencing with the Five of Pentacles, which is that fear consciousness, that lack there, it doesn't need to be the case, and we certainly don't want it to be the case. So it does require some internal focus on what it is that needs to be improved in order for that external to show up as the Nine of Pentacles, your independence, your freedom from these limitations, self-limitations, and movement to more abundance for yourself. Fantastic. Okay, let's see what card we have here. All right, 27, fertility. The frequency of fertility invites us to be more open, more courageous, more creative, and more joyful than we were before. Okay, well, that's what we want. More joyful than what we were before. Very good. It activates the potential for something beautiful to grow from our consciousness into a new and grander expression of ourselves. Oh, that is so perfect. Yeah, we want to activate that potential for something beautiful. And this is how we do it, to, reset, deconstruct whatever outlook you had going that wasn't serving you, and then build a new one. But now that this has come out, see, with the increase here, this could actually, that can actually speak to fertility in the physical sense, actually, that you could, if this might be one small portion of the message, but it could be relevant for some of you, then this can actually speak to a conception, a fertility, a pregnancy with the increase here. You're moving into a period of time where there is going to be an addition to the home front. Fantastic. All right then. So, Scorpio, that is the reading I have for you. All the best as you move through this time. I look forward to being able to connect with you again in another reading. So take care. Hello and welcome to our Sagittarius out there. So happy birthday to those of you who are sun sign Sagittarius. But this reading is, of course, also for your Sagittarius moon and rising signs. Now I'm just going to go right ahead and jump into the interpretations of the cards, because as you can see, I have already placed them. So Sagittarius, this looks to be a very good time for you. You've got Capricorn I use. The energy is gaining momentum in the waxing moon there as well. You are coming into a time of prosperity, of abundance, of good fortune, well-being. Now, in here with events and commitment, so this is speaking to the beginnings of something, committing to something. That can be a relationship. I mean, it could also be a business venture. And given that Capricorn is here and dealing with the practicalities of things, how something is to be created and built upon, then I'm looking more that this is actually for a business opportunity or a work venture or something that's going to bring material success. And of course, Capricorn, that can be to do with your workspace and something that you're working on and building. So that could be a new role or a new venture, commitment of some kind. It could even actually reflect buying property also. And with the Page of Cups, that's interesting. I've just jumped ahead, but this Spirit card has turned up in most of the readings today. It feels like it's turned up consistently. And this was definitely in the previous reading, so that is interesting. It seems that there must be a theme during this time about connecting to your higher self, because this card is really speaking to that. It's speaking to being the highest possible expression that you can be in this physical realm. And it's also saying that that is possible when you have that connection to Spirit, when you have that support, align with that support to guide you through things on the material realm. So you can actually have an easier time going through those practicalities in normal everyday life. So the higher self, that has been showing up a lot. So there's a theme there here currently with the collective. And then you've got consciousness here and happy success. So this is really speaking to whatever venture you've been working on, whatever you're entering into. This is a time of it, you being able to build it, to develop it, to satisfy that ambitious drive of yours to go forward and develop something. This is you harnessing those energies of the Capricorn, of that stability, that ability to build on something and use the practical for your benefit. So this is really speaking to that practical application of what you have at hand for yourself. The resources that you have available to you is really supporting in that happy success. And it is, I want to point out, is this to do with the consciousness too. So even though the success is definitely there in the material world, this is really highlighting the fact that before it can be realized practically, it needs to be expressed quite fundamentally in your consciousness. You do have to have that attitude of gratitude, that positive outlook, that understanding that you have access to what it is that you need in order to be able to create that success and that wealth and that abundance. So, because you've got Page of Cups here, King of Wands, Two of Swords. All right, so with the Page of Cups, so the Cups is talking to the emotions, but this is the one card on the table that I would really, well, actually these two, to be fair. So these ones, for some of you, if the business venture, if the work situation, the career is not the topic, the energy that's relevant to you, it could be to do with a relationship with the Page of Cups there. There is, and the commitment that does speak to That could speak to a relationship with the Page of Cups and talking about the developing, the growing of, because it does look to a beginning here. I don't see that as, if it's a relationship, it does look like it's the beginning of a relationship. I mean, the Page of Cups, could be somebody who is your interest, or if it's a person, then it's somebody with a youthful outlook. But more than that, now that I'm looking at this further, it's really the promise of something more, the promise of being able to build something together emotionally, to develop that bond and build upon it for it to become something very steady, sturdy and long-lasting with the Capricorn there. And you've got the double 2 as well. So, yeah, that speaks to partnership as well. So, and with the King of Wands here, see, there's a sense of achievement in this card. There's a sense of mastery of sorts. And this is fire and Sagittarius. So this could very well reflect your energy in this situation, I think. I get a sense, if this is to do with business, venture, work situation, this is you really coming into your own with the King of Wands energy there, with that fire. It's that real that mastery in whatever project that you're developing here, starting, committing to, taking further. This is about you really owning your space and moving forward in confidence, knowing that you have what it takes to build upon this, and for it to really launch you further in success and also in your ambitions. Wow, that's impressive. And with the Two of Swords there, that's really speaking to me about just be mindful of your consciousness as you're moving forward. Just be mindful of your thought patterns, and because this happy success here is going to be supported, it's going to flourish, but it will only do so if you keep your your eyes on the prize, if you keep that positivity about you, right, and move forward with that happy outlook, and aiming for the positives here, because we don't want you to slip back into something that might cause some confusion, some obstacles that are internal, that are just some internal doubts that are going on that might, impede on this progress forward. Because you do have the energy is gaining momentum. So it's about, you put the hard work in, and now it's a time where things are moving along, and you'll be able to see something more tangible from the efforts you've put in, other than just, the actions that you've taken to create it. There is going to be a time where you'll actually be able to see the physical results of that in the material. So that's really fabulous. I love that. But if there is something that you're uncertain about with the Two of Swords, if there is a decision making to be done, and there's some kind of assessment that needs to be made, I don't see it to cause any kind of upheaval that would be like a deal breaker issue. It's nothing like that. It's something more that can be clarified in the details of something. I'm seeing it as, like, for instance, if you've got some contracts to finalize, or some paperwork to be signed off on, this is really about making sure that the details are completed correctly, so that there is no ambiguity in something, that there's no confusion. That's how I see that Two of Swords playing out in this situation. But it's a very minor thing. It's a minor detail with regards to the entirety of this. But yeah, that's looking really positive. It really does look like the efforts that you've put in, it's going to be paying off. So it's your time. That's really wonderful. And of course it would be, right? You're the birthday sign. So yeah, fabulous. All right, so let's have a look to see what kind of sacred geometry card we've got for you. Divine Feminine. Oh, well, that's interesting. All right, the frequency of Divine Feminine supports our receptive, nurturing, and soft side, allowing it to express itself openly and helping us to connect to our intrinsic understanding of our connection to all of creation. 21. So you've got 21 and 22. This is about balance to me. This is about the 22 here. See, 21 to the 22. I feel that this is with the Divine Feminine. I think it's, for me, it's really speaking to being able to harness that receptivity of the Divine Feminine. It's being able to harness that in such a way that Divine Masculine, those things that you're doing in action, is being infused with this Divine Feminine energy to give you that sense of that balance. And in that, you have that access to creation, which, I mean, look, you've already got that. So that, I don't really see that as something that you are necessarily missing, but certainly being aware of the supporting factors of the Divine Feminine and with the Divine Masculine, that can only serve you in being able to move forward with this creation. But I want to get something else. Okay, alchemy. Yeah, fantastic. You are the alchemist. You're really creating things. The frequency of alchemy activates our magical ability and remembrance of the magic that we all hold inside. Each one of us has the potential to access the ancient knowledge that allowed the true alchemist to perform the miracles of transmutation. There you go. You are really creating big here. And with the ancient knowledge, yeah, so this is being able to tap into a source of wisdom that is beyond just what you have here in the practical realm, Sagittarius. But honestly, that looks really fantastic. Because this releasing that's going on, it's moving you towards the culmination of those energies and something that's going to show up tangibly for you. That's really fabulous. Love that. You're really standing out. So congratulations, well done. All right then, Sagittarius, that is the reading I have for you. I will certainly look forward to connecting with you again in another reading. So until then, take care. Hi and welcome to Oracle Insight Capricorns. So this is for Capricorn Sun, Moon and Rising, and it is between the times of the 12th to the 21st of December. So we're going to jump right into this reading here, as I have laid the cards already, as you can see. Now, I love that it's got Grand Trine and Blessings, because that's fabulous. Blessings is always very good. Also with this deserving consciousness, with the Nine of Cups, no less. So that is talking about, you know, being in a state of harmony, wishes being fulfilled, feeling good, having that happiness. And look, see, he's cheersing with that cup. So I've kind of just jumped straight into these, but this is what we like. Now, before we can get to this, however, there does seem to be a need to address some things that may be disrupting you at the moment, or causing, you know, less security and less happiness within yourself, because you've got spirit here and higher self. And I must just add that this card has been showing up in a lot of the readings, whether it's reverse or in upright, but with this one it's in reverse. So this is really speaking to negativities. It's highlighting that there needs to be a consciousness about your thought patterns. Light being shone down on issues that might be holding you back right now. Now with the Lovers, I don't see this as a relationship read. This is speaking more to me about having that connection to your higher self. That's what that is reflecting to me, actually. It's more about integrating the earth self with, your higher self. That spiritual connection, enhancing that, developing that, making sure that is going to be able to assist you moving forward. Because right now it looks like you've been thinking of the less positive side of things. That's what that is showing. So this is really about the encouragement for you to connect with your higher self. That's what I'm picking up with this one. I don't see that as a relationship, but let's see. We'll go further and maybe something will show itself in regards to a relationship if that's the case. But with the increase in reverse there, see, that's talking to you taking stock. With the Emperor there, that stability, some success, some understanding of your authority, your wealth, your stability in something. So with this increase, it might be that your normal stability is being impacted somewhat. I'm looking with the Emperor there. I'm thinking part of it is to do with external influences, and you're needing to take stock of your situation, your portfolio, your finances, whatever it is, and you're having to make adjustments in order for you to be able to move through a time where there seems to be some kind of limitations going on. But this is really just a preparatory move. It's about you being able to retain that stand of an emperor, that retain that security moving forward by just making some adjustments with whatever it is that you need to fine tune in order to get through some kind of stage of reduction or limitations. But look, you've got grand trine and blessings here. So this is really about whatever energies that are a bit disruptive at the moment. This is really pointing to the fact that you're actually going to be able to cope very well with that, if that's the case. If that resonates with you and you're going to have to tighten your belt to do with finances, business, cutbacks in some way, this is really ensuring that there is some assistance there for you with the grand trine and blessings. It's going to allow this experience to move through less painfully than what it would otherwise be for you. But with the deserving and consciousness, this is really just making sure that when you are going through these times, which, given that there might be some decrease benefits that you're normally used to receiving, just be aware of your approach to things. Make sure that you are in consciousness of abundance, ease and flow through the situation, because that's really pointing to so many payoffs coming your way. You've got the deserving there. Look at all that happiness and that joy and that flourishing of life. Like I said, with the grand trine blessings, and then you've got the 9 of cups. See, this is like a wish fulfillment. So this is really speaking to wish fulfillment too. This consciousness and deserving in the upright, just like the 9 of cups is speaking to in Taurus. So that's really about you holding course, staying the course like the Emperor would do, understanding that things need to be adjusted at times. You have that awareness to make those adjustments, and understanding that at the end of that, that's going to put you in a really good position to benefit from that ebbing and flowing. So even if there's an ebb happening, that tide coming back in is a given, absolute given. And with conclusions are within reach. Yeah, that's talking to, with the full moon and eclipse, that's talking to doors closing. Opportunities that were once available are not going to be at a certain time. But I really see that this is like this energy here, that there is some There are some things that are not quite, that will not be available to you at this stage. It's still overall, given the other cards on the table, it's still a very positive overall outcome here and expression of the energies on the table. So this is a very good thing, a very good thing. Let's see what sacred geometry, what kind of wisdom that can offer. Dynamic. All right, let's have a look. The frequency of dynamics supports our ability to harmonize between layers and aspects of different origin and frequency. It helps us to put together a reality that is made up of many different elements, both familiar and completely new, with ease, grace, and great joy. Well, okay, ease and grace. So what was I saying about the ease and that flow? So the grand trine blessings, the ease, it's going to ease you through these disruptions gracefully and with the great joy. This is what you've got here. The Nine of Cups and the deserving, that is great joy. So regardless of what this might mean for you in terms of doors closing and things not being accessible, it still points to, you know, conclusions being, these benefits here being within reach for you, and this helping you through that transitional time. Love that. It's interesting, can you see that, how that the Roman numeral 6 there and the Roman numeral 4, that kind of just mirror aspects of it. So this is, yeah, I really do get a sense that that's more to do with you finding that that connection with your divine, your higher self, and in that, this then leads to more stability, more awareness, more emperor-like qualities and energies to move through this change. Yeah, fantastic. All right then, Capricorn, super duper. All right then, that is the reading I have for you, Capricorn. I wish you all the best as you are going through this stage and moving towards all of this joy here. And until I can connect with you again, take care. Hello and welcome, Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Rising signs. You are with Oracle Insights, so thank you very much for joining me today. Now, today's reading is going to be for the 12th to the 21st of December. So we're just going to jump straight into the interpretation of the cards, because as you can see, the cards have already been laid. Now, you've got solar eclipse revolution, then you've got personal issue reaches resolution, full moon in Cancer, and this one is believe in the impossible blue moon. The solar eclipse card does speak, especially with the revolution, that's kind of an indication of the energy. So it does speak to change, it does speak to disruptions that are not comfortable whatsoever. Given that this is saying personal issue reaches resolution here, this could be to do with a relationship, a partnership of sorts. And in addition to that, there's something in here that's it's a one-off opportunity. So we'll see what that might express as we go further into the reading. But yeah, change. There are changes happening here. And with the cycle card in decrease, that does also speak to a loss of something or someone. It could be a relationship, but it could also speak to a business partnership, a job even. And given that you've got King of Pentacles here, I'm thinking that might actually be to do with a business connection maybe. There's some kind of disruptive force at play that has potentially caused some unrest, some dissension between yourselves, and yeah, it does look, this is kind of pointing to an ending here, a change, and that the dynamics of that relationship. And so you could potentially be moving on from that connection. And with the Five of Pentacles here in present power, so this is speaking to you. actually being very much like the King of Pentacles, in the sense that you have stability, you have an awareness of your responsibilities within this change, within this situation. It's like there's an understanding there that whatever's happening, given that you are in your present power, this is showing you being stable and steady and being able to cope with whatever changes is happening around you. This is what this is talking to. And so even if that is the case, and even if there might be a loss of a job here, because with the Five of Pentacles, there could be a decrease in terms of the coin, the material, just like that decrease there. Even if that is going to be something that you're going to experience, it doesn't look like it's going to throw you too far off balance. Actually, it really looks like you've got a handle on things. It's going to be okay. Yeah, wow, Aquarius, that's really good. It's good to be, you know, in that space of awareness, conscious decision making as you go through a time of change. So that's really, really fantastic. I love to see that for you. And with this, see, once again, with this friends and colleagues in reverse. So you've got a few cards here that are really pointing to change in dynamics with a partnership, a relationship, whether it is business. I'm thinking it's more to do with business, actually. You can apply this to your situation and whatever is applicable to you. But this does look to be a change, a severing of a connection, a relationship, a business connection potentially. And if it's not a complete severing, there's definite, even though it does look like it is, if it isn't though, there's a real shift in dynamics, to the point that even if that initial change in dynamics does not cause a complete separation, it does look like that will eventually be the case further down the line, given that the Judgment is here too. So that's really asking you to, I see this as asking you to step up and into that next stage, that next portal, window of opportunity, because look, believe in the impossible. There is something opening up for you, Aquarius, that is going to be very instrumental in you moving forward in a big way. And it's something that is unexpected, and it's something that you may actually have intended for yourself at some stage, but maybe it was so grand you didn't think it was going to be possible. But whatever that is, if that is the case, it does seem like there's an opportunity that's going to come around that, you know, it does open doors for you. It's like something's going to be presented to you that really supports a movement forward here in a big way. Okay, so let's see about another card here. I just want to see what else can be. Oh my gosh, okay. 2, oh wow, 3 came out here. So let's have a look what we've got. We've got 8 of Pentacles, the 4, oh wow, look at all these pentacles on the table here, and the Fool. All right, so you are really moving into something really fabulous here with this change, even though this disruption is not going to be very good. But look, you've got a handle on the disruption. As you can see, you're the King of Pentacles there. So it's not going to be something that's going to, you know, disrupt the flow too much, because you've got 8 of Pentacles and you've got 10 of Pentacles. So that just leads me to think, and you've got the Fool here. So this judgment call that's being asked of you, this call to step up, to step out, to step into this upcoming change. Yeah, you're being supported. You're on to new potential here. Yeah, believe in the impossible, Blue Moon. With the 10 of Pentacles, that could literally, you know, reflect a windfall. That really could. Because look at all these pentacles. And with the 8 of Pentacles, if it is to do with something that you have been working on, then this is really speaking to to that project, the fact that you have worked on it, and there has to be some kind of shift here. There's the diligence that you've applied to the situation today, or the project to date, you're going to be able to retain that and move forward towards the Ten of Pentacles, that success, that increase. So we're not going to have this decrease then. It's going to change around, it's going to turn around, and you're going to have the Ten of Pentacles, which is the increase that's happening. But all in all, we are really looking at some tangible benefits for you. And look, the Fool. Wow, new beginnings for you, indeed. And they're going to be really positive. Love that. But you just need to get through this personal issue reaches resolution first. Okay, and then it's going to be A-OK for Aquarius. Fantastic. We love that when that happens. Exciting changes ahead for you for sure. That being said, Aquarius, thank you very much for joining me today. And so until I can connect with you again in another reading, you take care. Hi and welcome to our Pisces out there, Sun, Moon and Rising signs. Thank you for joining me here in Oracle Insight. So this reading is for the 12th to the 21st of December, and we're going to jump right into the interpretation of the cards. As we can see, I've laid them. So you've got second house owning and have faith in your dreams. I love this combination. So this is really talking to resources. This is talking to something physical, something tangible. It's about ownership. It's about money. It's about some kind of standing you have too. Just that sense of creating something. So that is so super. Super, super, super. But it does look like there's been a period of potential conflict here with this events card in reverse, as well as you've got events, number 7, deception in reverse too. So this is speaking to you potentially having gone through a stage, whatever you've been working towards, there's been something that's kind of given you a little bit of disruption along the way, or it's not been a complete smooth ride. There's some energies here that has caused you, some disruption. And with this events, deception in reverse, this is really speaking to people who have been the cause of that disruption, whether they are work colleagues who have had some kind of hand in creating some miscommunication at work potentially, or there is friction going on with the conflict, these two together. Whatever it is that you've been experiencing, this Six of Swords suggests, as does the fact that these are coming up in reverse here, that you're moving on from that time. All right, it's not going to be something that, if it's still currently happening for you, it's not going to be lasting for very long. You are now moving away from that energy, which is fantastic, because that's what we need, that's what we want. And with Two of Pentacles, so once again, that's talking to, and given that's with the Pentacles here, and this is certainly about the material, this is potentially, you juggling tasks, juggling responsibilities, trying to handle a multitude of things that has really created a drain on your energies. And you haven't really been assisted by those around you. You've kind of, I get a sense that you've gone at it alone. You've had to take responsibility and ownership for these tasks by yourself. You've had to juggle your way through this time. But this is wonderful, because this is speaking to you moving out of that time of conflict, out of that time of friction. You're moving on to something that you have been planning, building, working on, because you've got planning and action here. See, this is speaking to having a plan and acting upon it, following it through, staying the course, just like the Emperor here. It's about you staying the course and whatever plans and intentions you had put in place, standing strong through this time of disruption, because you know that at the end of it, you are the one that's going to be better off. And so, oh gosh, that is really strong. That's really wonderful. That really does speak to you having an understanding, even in this time of disruption, that things are going to be okay, that things will work out. And given that you've got faith, have faith in your dreams with a waxing crescent moon, that is that kind of that adage there, like everything's going to work out. It's having that understanding that things will work out. Things, sometimes it goes in your favor and sometimes it doesn't. It was just all part of that process, that building process. Oh my gosh, that is really good. Love that. And so you can apply that to your situation to see how that fits. You could be looking to own a home, work towards owning a home. There could have been some kind of negotiations, relationships, connections, communications to do with that may have been quite disrupted, but now it's moving into a better energetic output here with this stability. And with this, have faith in your dreams and this indication of dreams coming true. And like I said, if that is to do with a creative project or a business venture, then this is speaking to the same thing, or a work situation, whatever it is that you have building and you've had this intention to enhance and grow. Yeah, that's really fabulous cards there to support that for you. Oh, love that. Love that, Pisces. So we're going to get a integration 30, a sacred geometry card. So the frequency of integration supports our embrace of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of life. Oh, wow, look. Don't you find that that's so synchronistic to this? Harmonizing the negative and the positive, harmonizing the negative and the positive. Just understanding that that's, wow, this really points to you being fully aware of what was happening around you and just really being strong in how you were standing and holding your ground in that situation. That really speaks to you being fully conscious and empowered. My goodness, that is absolutely fabulous. So that is really, really fabulous. I love that. It's perfect. So that is the reading I have for you, Pisces. So take care until I connect with you in another reading.